let me ask you something real quick. Are you actually okay? Or are you just surviving quietly like the rest of us, hoping no one notices you're drowning? Because I need you to understand this. America isn't just in trouble. It's unraveling at the seams, and no one's coming to stop it. Inflation's cooked the cost of living, up 19% since 2020, but real wages, they've dropped over 3% adjusted for inflation. Food prices are up 25%, and housing is now 5.66 the average income. Meanwhile, credit card debt just hit a record $1.13 trillion, and nearly 40% of Americans can't cover a $400 emergency. Over 70% of Gen Z believe they'll never own a home. And why would they? Mortgage rates are back over 7.5%, and rent has jumped 18% in just 2 years. Healthcare, unaffordable. Jobs, getting erased by AI. Cities, running deficits while potholes multiply and ambulances disappear. Food banks are feeding full-time workers, and utilities in some states have doubled in a year. You think this is sustainable? It's not. But they don't want you to panic. They want you scrolling, buying, and pretending everything's fine. But it's not fine. This is collapse. Silent, systematic, and designed to be ignored until it's too late. So listen carefully, because if you're still waiting for someone to fix this, I've got news for you. No one is coming. The middle class has quietly died, and no one noticed the funeral. Let me tell you something that most folks don't even want to admit out loud. The American middle class, it's gone. Toast. Buried 6 feet deep in debt, inflation, and delusion. You want to know how I know? In 1971, a single income could buy a house, support a family of 4, and still afford a vacation once a year. Fast forward to 2025, and dual-income households are barely treading water, skipping meals just to pay rent, and praying their car doesn't break down because one repair could bankrupt them. According to the Pew Research Center, the middle class now makes up less than 50% of the population. It was over 60% back in the early 2000s. So where did they go? Downward. They're the new poor. Only now they're wearing Target hoodies instead of Goodwill hand-me-downs, but it's the same paycheck-to-paycheck cycle, just dressed up in cheap polyester. Over 60% of Americans can't cover a $400 emergency. Think about that. One tire blowout, one ER visit, one missed paycheck, and it's game over. Credit cards maxed, bank accounts drained. You want to know the scariest part? The wealth gap is bigger now than during the Gilded Age. The top 1% control over 32% of the country's wealth, while the bottom 50%, that's half the country, controls just 2.5%. Yes, it's start. This isn't just inequality. This is economic euthanasia. They're slowly pulling the plug on the working class while feeding us dopamine on TikTok and calling it freedom. You might still be in denial, but trust me, if you make under 100K, you're not middle class. You're collateral damage, and nobody is coming to fix it. Your city is bankrupt, but nobody sent you the memo. You ever walk around your neighborhood and wonder why the potholes haven't been fixed since the Obama administration? Why your public library closes at 3 p.m. on a Tuesday? Or why there's one cop patrolling 60 square miles? It's because your city is broke. Like, on the brink of collapse broke. Nearly 1 in 3 American cities are facing a budget deficit in 2025. Cities like Chicago, New York, and San Francisco are all running multi-billion-dollar shortfalls, and smaller cities, they're even worse off. They're defaulting on bonds, cutting fire departments in half, laying off sanitation workers. That's why your trash pickup is 2 weeks late. And let's not even talk about schools. Teacher shortages, mold in classrooms, zero extracurriculars. This isn't mismanagement. It's systemic starvation. The federal government gave billions to Ukraine, but your local bridge hasn't had maintenance since Bush was in office. Why? Because tax revenues are collapsing. Businesses shut down. Residents moved away. And those who stayed, they're broke too. In Portland, for example, commercial property vacancies are up over 30% year over year. The tax base is evaporating, and guess what? When the money dries up, so does everything else. That's when the real chaos starts. Fires burn longer. Crimes go unanswered. Ambulances never come. This is how civilizations crumble. Slowly, quietly. Through broken infrastructure, empty coffers, and ghost neighborhoods. You might not see the collapse yet, but if you listen closely, you can feel it. It's in the sirens that don't come. It's in the streetlights that never turn on. It's in the silence of services that once made life livable. Your city is going bankrupt, and it doesn't care if you're ready. The job market is a lie, and AI just turned the lights out. So everybody keeps saying there's record low unemployment, right? The job market is strong, they say. We added 200,000 new jobs, they claim. Let me break it down for you. It's propaganda. Because the jobs we're creating now, they're not jobs. They're scraps. They're temp contracts, gig work, part-time with no benefits, or worse, AI janitor jobs, where you're basically babysitting the bot that took your livelihood. According to the Bureau of Labor Statistics, the majority of jobs added in 2025 were in food service and hospitality. You know what that means? We're all waiters, drivers, and baristas again. Meanwhile, Goldman Sachs reports that 300 million jobs worldwide are at risk due to automation, with the U.S. losing over 15% of white-collar jobs to AI within 24 months. Software engineers are being replaced by code-generating bots. Legal assistants, gone. Customer service reps, replaced by chatbots. And the jobs that are left? They don't pay. The real wage, after inflation, has declined nearly 3% in the last 2 years. But your rent went up 17%, your car insurance is up 22%, and your grocery bill. Don't even get me started. This isn't just a broken economy. It's a rigged game. The jobs are vanishing, the salaries are shrinking, and all while the billionaires are investing billions into AI startups whose entire goal is to make sure you never get hired again. We're being told to upskill and pivot and embrace the future, but that future has no place for us. You're not underemployed. You've been rendered obsolete, and unless you've got a plan to outcode the machine, you're next. America's housing market is a powder keg, and it's already lit. All right, let's stop pretending like the housing market is just cooling down. It's not. It's a ticking time bomb, and it's already started ticking. Right now, over 8 million American households are behind on their mortgage or rent. That's not speculation. That's according to the Census Bureau's Household Pulse survey. Landlords have started filing evictions again at a rate not seen since 2008, and yet we're told everything's fine because home values are up. No, that's the problem. Home values are so high it's literally pushing entire generations into homelessness. The median home price in the U.S. hit $420,000 this year. That's 5.6 times the median income. In the 1980s, it was 2.6 times. Millennials and Gen Z are completely priced out. And guess who's buying up the homes now? BlackRock, Vanguard, hedge funds. Wall Street owns nearly 1 in 7 single-family homes in America. They're not selling. They're renting them back to us for double what the mortgage would have been. If you don't own a home already, you probably never will. And if you do own one, you're not safe either. Property taxes are rising fast, especially in booming states like Texas and Florida. And wait till you try to refinance. Mortgage rates are now above 7.5%, the highest since 2000. People are trapped. Can't sell, can't buy, can't even move. It's financial prison. The housing crash won't be a sudden pop. It'll be a long bleed out. More homelessness, more empty apartments owned by shell companies, more families living in RVs and motels. You're not building wealth. You're renting your own future from the very people who stole it. Healthcare has become a death sentence for the poor. You want to know how I know America is collapsing? Walk into an ER with no insurance and watch how fast they let you die. I'm not even being dramatic. In 2025, the average employer-sponsored health insurance premium for a family plan crossed $24,000 a year. And that's not even counting copays, deductibles, and out-of-pocket caps. For folks on the ACA marketplace, plans are skyrocketing and the deductibles. Some are $8,000 flood before coverage even kicks in. What that means is simple. Most people don't go to the doctor anymore. They're sitting at home treating staph infections with hydrogen peroxide and hoping a stroke just passes. According to a 2024 Gallup survey, 38% of Americans delayed medical treatment due to cost. That's not just low-income folks, that's working professionals. And the hospitals? They're collapsing too. Over 600 rural hospitals are at risk of closing this year alone. Nurses are leaving in droves. Physicians are being replaced by telehealth contractors who juggle 17 patients at once. Meanwhile, Big Pharma is jacking up prices like they're auctioning off insulin to billionaires. One vial of insulin now costs $300 without insurance. That's a drug that was patented over a century ago and should be free. But nah, we turned health into a business model. And now your survival depends on how much debt you're willing to take on. We're the only developed country where medical debt is the leading cause of bankruptcy, affecting over 100 million Americans. Think about that. Just getting sick is enough to financially destroy you. And when the collapse hits full throttle, it won't be bullets or bombs. It'll be blood in hospital parking lots because nobody could afford to be saved. Food is still on the shelf, but you can't afford it. Let's just talk about groceries for a second because I don't think people fully understand what's going on here. The shelves look full. The produce looks fresh. But have you looked at the price of eggs, of peanut butter, of rice? It's criminal. According to the U.S. Department of Agriculture, food prices rose 25.2% between 2020 and 2024. And that's a soft number because if you've been to Walmart lately, you know it feels like everything doubled. Beef is up 33%, cereal up 26%, baby formula, if you can even find it, it's gold dust. And this isn't just inflation, it's manipulation. Corporations are using inflation as cover to quietly jack up prices far beyond supply chain issues. It's called greedflation. Look it up. Companies like Nestlé and General Mills have been posting record profits, not in spite of inflation, but because of it. Meanwhile, food banks are reporting 40% higher demand than during the pandemic. Middle-class families, people with full-time jobs, are standing in lines for free pasta and canned beans. Schools are cutting lunch programs. Farmers are going bankrupt because corporate agribusiness has taken over, while the government pays them more to grow corn for ethanol than to grow tomatoes for actual food. And you know what's next, right? Shrinkflation. You're paying $6 for a bag of chips that's 80% air and 12 chips. We're not feeding a population anymore. We're feeding profit margins. And the hunger is rising. Quietly, desperately. Your fridge might be full now, but wait until the next drought hits California, or the next grain shortage from Ukraine, or diesel prices choke out logistics. You'll realize real quick, food is still on the shelves, but it's not for you anymore. Your money is worthless and you don't even know it yet. You think you're saving money? Let me break your heart for a second. Every dollar you're hoarding in your bank account is bleeding value, slowly, quietly, without you even realizing it. Since 2020, the U.S. dollar has lost 18% of its purchasing power. That's according to the Bureau of Labor Statistics. If you had $10,000 sitting in savings back then, it's worth $8,200 in real-world value today. Meanwhile, wages haven't kept up. Not even close. Even if your paycheck nominally went up, inflation erased the gain before it even hit your direct deposit. You might have made more dollars, but you bought fewer groceries. And don't get me started on savings accounts. The average national interest rate on a savings account is 0.47%, not even enough to fight inflation. So unless your money's parked in gold, real estate, or some black magic crypto fund, it's dying. Quietly. And while your money dies, your debt multiplies. Credit card interest rates are now averaging over 24%, the highest ever recorded. Americans owe $1.13 trillion in credit card debt alone. That's not a typo, a trillion. And for every $100 you spend today, you're effectively burning 20 of it to inflation and 24 to interest. You're only getting 56 cents of real value. But they don't teach you that in school, do they? No one tells you that the dollar is a rigged instrument designed to make the poor stay poor and the rich stay leveraged. This isn't a currency. It's a controlled demolition. And you're watching it collapse in slow motion, one devalued dollar at a time. This isn't just theft. It's economic euthanasia dressed up as consumer choice. The American dream is dead, but we're still paying rent on the illusion. Here's the truth. Nobody wants to say out loud. The American dream is a ghost, a fossil, a relic of a time that no longer exists. You know the one. Buy a house, raise a family, go on vacation once a year, retire at 65. That dream is dead, buried under $100,000 student loans, 20% mortgage down payments, and gig economy jobs with no benefits. And yet somehow, we're still chasing it, still financing new SUVs, still paying $4,200 a month for daycare, still grinding 60-hour weeks for a retirement we'll never live to enjoy. According to a 2025 report by Northwestern Mutual, 60% of Americans say they expect to work past retirement age. That's not ambition. That's survival. Meanwhile, 70% of Gen Z say they believe they'll never own a home, not because they don't want one, but because they literally can't afford one. The system wasn't designed to uplift anymore. It was designed to extract, to bleed you for every cent until you either die in debt or keep working until your body gives out. They've replaced hope with debt, opportunity with scarcity. We're not living the dream. We're leasing it. And, just like everything else in America, it comes with terms and conditions. No refunds, no early exits, just quiet desperation dressed up in Instagram filters and Amazon Prime deals. The saddest part? Most people don't even know it's over. They're still waiting for a bailout, for a rescue, for some miracle to fix what's already beyond repair. But here's the kicker. No one is coming to save us. And if you don't start saving yourself, mentally, financially, spiritually, you're going to drown in the illusion too. You made it this far, so now let me ask you one last question. What are you going to do about it? Because this isn't just a video. This is your wake-up call. This is the part where you stop pretending things will get better. Eventually. Eventually is over. Eventually came and went, and it left you with $9 eggs, a $300 power bill, and a paycheck that runs out before your gas tank fills up. The system is not broken. It's working exactly as it was designed to drain you slowly while you thank it for the privilege. And they're not coming to save you. Not your government, not your job, not the banks, not the billionaire CEOs telling you to grind harder. You're on your own now. So stock up, cut unnecessary spending, build your skills, get out of debt if you can, talk to your neighbors, plant something, think long term, make a plan for collapse before collapse makes a plan for you. And most importantly, wake up the people around you, because this doesn't end quietly. It ends with a crash, and whether you're crushed under it or prepared for it depends on what you do right now. So don't scroll past this. Don't forget this feeling. You're not crazy. You're not alone. You're just finally seeing things for what they really are.